Thank you.
Thank you.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Well, on behalf of Netwoven, I'd like to welcome you to our Power BI presentation. I'm Walter Petrus. I'm the Operating Officer at Netwoven, and I'll be the facilitator for today's presentation. My goal is to help you get the most out of the presentation and answer your questions. A few comments about the logistics for today's webinar. We have some great speakers and a lot of content to cover in 50 minutes. We'll do our best to answer your questions throughout the presentation, or we'll post answers to our blog at netwoven.com. If you have questions or issue, please look at the upper right corner of your screen, and you should see the GoToWebinar control panel. In that panel, you can also post questions by typing in the lower right box or clicking the hand to raise an issue. Next slide. Just a quick note about Netwoven. Well, we're a full-service technology consulting firm serving Fortune 1000 companies. We're founded in 2001, and we've been lucky to recruit some great consultants from many industries and technology firms. We feel fortunate to work with many of these firms highlighted on the slide and on the call today. Thank you for your continued business. Next slide. A quick highlight of our services. Netwoven's been very actively involved in a lot of Office 365 architecture planning and implementation. Quite a bit of migration services from SharePoint to SharePoint Online with search and enterprise content. Today we're going to focus a little bit more about some of the work we do in big data and Power BI specifically. Next slide. We're fortunate today to have one of our distinguished engagement directors. Murley's been working with us for many years in BI and data warehouse and has worked with some of great clients. He's got extensive experience in several different BI tools, and today we're going to focus on the Microsoft Business Intelligence solutions. But he's got a lot of awards, so we're fortunate to have him as part of the team. Next slide. A little bit about our agenda today. We're going to cover a little bit of the industry insights, dig into Microsoft's self-service solution, and then show you an example of some Power BI specifics, and then compare that or show you how that's deployed on SharePoint. And then, of course, we'll take time at the end to wrap up and answer Q&A. I encourage you, if any time, please post your questions in the chat window or the questions, and we'll go ahead and try to answer them as we go through the presentation. With that, I'd like to introduce Murley. Welcome, Murley.
Thanks, Walt. Good morning, everybody on the call. Thank you very much for taking time and joining this webinar. I hope this will be useful. This will be useful to the ones that you have kind of thinking of attending. So, just wanted to start off with our key industry trends on the BI side. What we have witnessed over the last decade has been that BI and analytics has grown significantly and is continuing to grow at a rapid pace. At Netwoven, we strongly believe that the impact of business intelligence on enterprise is projected to expand at a much more pace in the near future. The BI ecosystem is already witnessing a number of key trends and technology advancements that is spurring adoption rates and thereby changing the fundamental aspects of usage of BI analytics. The result is that BI, business intelligence and analytics, are being accessed much more quickly, easily, and frequently than before, and it is producing a significant impact on the decision-making process for virtually all aspects of an enterprise. Now, what we feel are the key trends for BI are broadly categorized into 5 buckets, which is virtual data discovery, self-service BI, which is definitely the main theme of today's discussion, cloud BI, mobile BI, and big data. So Gartner, the leading industry analyst, recently revealed that the leading BI vendors, or the mega vendors you may call so, their shift will emphasize on the new product investments more on the business user, data-driven discovery and analytics tools. So with a multitude of dashboards, interactive visualizations, search and other discovery tools specifically designed for business users, the process of accessing business intelligence is evolving more towards self-service. And this is one of the main themes for today's webinar, as I just pointed out. So what this means is that end users will largely dictate the pace and the specific BI tools that are most relevant to the enterprise, with applications created with ease of use that are seemingly belies with the IT department. So it's also important to note with these new technologies and trends, the role of IT that's going to shape up or is shaping up in the near future. So what we are witnessing is the significant change in the BI technologies. So the vendors are specifically targeting the businesses for new products. So in that, the IT role will be more of a traditional gatekeeper or an agile, will shift more from a traditional gatekeeper to a user helper or an agile broker. Mobile, cloud, and big data applications are really meaningless without IT modifications, which will come to focus more on the product configuration and software development than issuing reports. So IT will ultimately provide the means for consumerization of BI for enterprise by functioning as strategists who can grant business users the fast-paced desire to move forward in the business agility. So it's important also to look at how industry is shaping up, or how the industry has matured from a BI perspective. So a recent survey conducted by one of the leading analysts shows that today about 15% of the industry, or the industry that's currently using BI in its mainframe, have reached a state of self-service or a business self-reliant stage. There are still about 80 to 85% of the business that are still catching up, or the industry that are still catching up, moving up that value chain. So what makes these 15% users different from the 85%? The main difference is that they have embraced these technologies and they have changed their internal architecture, they have changed their business processes to adapt to BI, and they are seeing a significant result that business intelligence and analytic solutions are providing to them in their day-to-day business. So what are some of the key, so it's important to answer what are some of the key technologies that are enabling business intelligence today. So cloud environments will continue to have a significant impact on analytics and software-oriented architecture. One of the greatest advantages of using a cloud-based analytics option is that users are not saddled with hardware expenses associated with conventional analytics platform. The lower cost and increased flexibility of the is projected to increase in the cloud adoption for analytics. However, the key concern for adopting cloud-based solutions has been data privacy and security. So that's where data architectures like multi-tenancy and security play a big role. We are also seeing in-memory technology catching up pretty fast as the big data industry is expanding, as we are gathering data from multitude of sources, both structured, semi-structured, and unstructured sources. There is the shift is moving more from RDBMS to an in-memory based technology, which helps to store any kind of data, compress the data, and also retrieve the data at a lightning speed. So big data analytics is significantly more reliant on data sources that are due to large sizes and swift speeds at which data is ingested. So it has gone much beyond the traditional RDBMS querying and extraction of the data. So the other aspect is the advanced visualization and interactive interface. So with mobile being the norm today, rich media content is a given. There is a need for cross-platform support. Search-based BI or a Google-based search like BI is getting into the mainstream, and that's gaining significant popularity. End users are demanding rich visualization content to be integrated into the mainstream BI reporting. So what does that mean is not only the visualizations that are visualization capabilities that are provided by the tools out of the box is not only sufficient for them, but not sufficient for them, and they are really needing third-party tools to be integrated along with their mainstream BI. So, other things to kind of touch upon are that as we are seeing, witnessing a significant increase in the number of data sources, code-free ETL mashup is getting popular. So there is definitely a need for the end users to mash up the data from different sources with ease and move forward. On the predictive analytics side, as the big data analytics application is catching up, there's a lot of need for statistical modeling. So BI is more of a question generator, and business analytics solutions using predictive analytics and statistical modeling is really the answer. So I think we have covered significant amount of trends on the BI side. So Walt, any questions at this point of time before we move on?
No, thanks for the good overview. Again, for those of you, I'm starting to see a few quick questions. I'll go ahead and try to make sure we prompt them to Murali or answer them on the web. But again, go to your GoToWebinar panel on the upper right, and if you go ahead and post those questions, we'll know kind of what your feedback is and areas we can cover. So thanks, Murali. Let's get into it. Go ahead.
Okay, sure. All right. So, so Microsoft has been a dominant player in the business intelligence space. It's no secret that Excel is one of the most popular and familiar tools, BI tools in the market today. However, there are still many who have not seen the full capabilities of what Excel can do with large amounts of data. Excuse me one second. So, keeping its vision as cloud first, Microsoft is constantly trying to establish a balance of self-service tool with the centralized IT management. In other words, Microsoft wants information workers to have necessary insights, but at the same time providing IT with the required amount of IT oversight. So Microsoft Power BI for Office 365 was introduced sometime early 2013, keeping three simple concepts to, or three simple principles. So the three simple principles are: simplify access to data, make it easy to gain insights from data, and provide a platform for sharing insights. So with these three simple tenets, Microsoft took the power of Excel and came up with the Office 360 Power BI for Office 365, which is actually a hybrid solution that is kind of partly implemented on-premise and partly implemented on cloud using the cloud-based Office 365 platform. So as we go more into Power BI, we'll see how each of these building blocks for Microsoft Power BI help in kind of building the insights and then sharing the insights in a collaborative manner. So as I said, broadly, the building blocks can be divided into two sets. One is on-premise and one is on the cloud. So what are really the on-premise modules or the building blocks from a Microsoft Office 365 perspective? So there are four key components: Power Query, Power Pivot, Power View, and Power Maps. And these are three downloadable Excel plugins that are available with the use of Office 360, Office Pro Plus or Office Professional Plus. So Power Query is a powerful analysis tool or a discovery tool which will help to import data from multiple sources, integrate the data, clean the data, manage and share the data in a much more governed manner. Power Pivot helps us to create, analyze the data by creating the right relationships within the data model, creating the hierarchies and the KPIs that are needed to build the necessary calculations. Power View is the visualization component which helps us to visualize the data that's built. You can create interactive reports and dashboards using Power View and deliver it to the end users in an ad hoc or a static manner. So Power Map is an additional add-on which helps you to create effective storytelling on your data, which uses the Microsoft's Bing Map service to integrate data across different geographical locations and present the data in a much more advanced manner. The key components on the cloud side are four key modules, which is called the Power BI site, Q&A, data catalog, and data management. This is a subscription-based service, whereas the on-premise is a free module. So in order to leverage the power of the cloud-based collaborative environment, collaborative features for Office 365, one has to subscribe to an Office 365 Power BI for Office 365 service. So the key module here are Power BI site, which helps you to upload and share the reports in the organization. Use natural language based search to get answers to the data hidden inside your data model. Build queries and share queries and information across the organization so that users can discover and reuse the queries whenever it's needed. And also expand the metadata built on top of the built along with the Power Pivot model to be shared within the organization. And data management gateway is an administrative function which helps you to refresh data from multiple sources, be it on the cloud or be it on premise. So what are some of the additional functionalities that one gets when they subscribe to a Power BI for Office 365? As you rightly see here, it helps you to share your Excel workbooks with your coworkers. So that definitely there's a lot of collaboration involved over there. It helps you to perform the natural language based search. It helps you to schedule automatic data refreshes for your data so that you don't have to, you can just schedule it once and it gets refreshed at the periodic, in a periodic manner. You can share your insights based on the queries that the power user has written across the enterprise. So there can be some certification and data governance assigned along with it so that you share clean data within the organization. And also this data can be exposed to data outside the organization for somebody else to use it as and when needed. And of course it comes with a mobile BI app which helps you to access the data anywhere, anytime.
Hey Murali, a couple quick questions have come in. One, as you described, these are components that are add-ons to Excel, the on-premise components, and then there's some tools that are also separately Office 365. So can you explain that in this graph here?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do that here. So this particular gives a complete overview of how the Power BI for Office 365 works. So the left-hand side, what you see as the Excel workbook is where the free add-ons come in, the Power Query, the Power Pivot, and the Power View and the Power Map. So these are just COM plugins which you just go into your Excel and enable them if you're using Office Pro Plus or Office Professional. You can build your data set. You can store the data within Excel. You can create the reports and dashboards within Excel. And this entire Excel workbook as a whole is then uploaded onto the cloud-based environment in the Power BI app or the Power BI site. So once the data gets uploaded into the Power BI sites, the other subscription-based functionalities kick in when you can do a natural language-based search based on the Excel workbook that you have uploaded over there. You can do it. You can connect the workbook to do a data refresh from multiple sources. If you have integrated data from some third-party sources or some cloud-based sources, you can create that connectivity and start doing that automatic refresh, and also share, and also Power BI for Office 365 you can use that to collaboratively share as a library within your SharePoint environment.
Great, thanks.
Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, and the Power BI Admin Center on the right side gives you, it's more of an IT-driven function which kind of configures the gateways and the other parameters to upload the workbook, share the workbook, and connect the data sources to different cloud-based or on-premise data sources. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, thank you. I got the feedback. Yep.
Yep.
Keep those questions coming.
Okay. So moving on to what we'll do next is we'll kind of cover briefly each of the components. I'll try to cover as much as possible, although we intend to cover some key 5 or 6 modules. So the first one is the data discovery, which is the Power Pivot model. So Power Pivot helps you to Power Pivot is also formerly known as Project Data Explorer. Data Explorer was launched by Microsoft, I think, in the version of Office 2010. So it's a module which helps you to access data from both internal and external sources. It helps you to clean and transform the data, create UI-based specific queries which will help to transform the data using the Excel-based functionalities. Again, Power Query is, the point to be noted here is Power Query is not a SQL-based tool. So you cannot write SQL-based queries like the way you write in any of your RDBMS sources. So it's purely GUI-driven and Excel function-driven based tool to transform the data. So people who are familiar with Excel and Excel-based functionalities can easily pick up this Power Query and start integrating and mashing up data from multiple sources.
And we find people using, just to explain it, we find people using this instead of SSIS in some cases. It does the extraction, transformation, and loading of data into your model, so ETL.
Yes, yes. So for advanced queries, if somebody wants to write really advanced functionalities, Power Query also provides a language known as M, which is a script-based language, you can then you can write powerful queries to interact with multiple data sources, and then do a lot of, if you're doing a lot of complex data calculations, you can use M language as an extension of what Power Query has to offer, and integrate it in the transformation process. So what are some of the basic activities of the shaping and data shaping and manipulation, or DML kind of activities that you can do with Power Query? Is you can configure different types of data, you can remove duplicates, you can split the columns, sort, merge groups, filter the data, and if you want to do anything outside these basic standard set of functionalities, you can use M language to write a script and clean the data based on your business requirement. And also, once the queries are written, you can use the Power BI data catalog, the queries within your organization. You can set up governance rules within the organization to share these queries with different end users within the organization. So what are some of the different data sources that Power Query supports? So as you see here, it supports pretty much most of the files. Data sources could be Excel, CSV, XML. On the database side, it kind of provides connectivity to almost all the most popularly used data sources: Oracle, SQL Server, Postgres, Sybase, Teradata, and IBM DB2. And on the and it also supports data integration from other unstructured and structured data sources, semi-structured data sources like the SharePoint list, or be it the Hadoop, or be it getting data from Twitter feed or a Facebook feed. So this is definitely a very powerful tool to integrate data from any of the most widely used data sources today available in the market. You can integrate the data, clean the data, and mash the data, and get it ready for consumption in your BI analytics solutions.
Hey, just
so moving on to data analysis.
Just sorry to interrupt. Just to sort of, we are seeing some GoToWebinar slides are slow presenting, so if you could just speak a little bit more slowly during the transition so the slides can catch up, really.
Sure. Like, so right now, are you able to see the data analysis screen?
Yep. Yeah, that's okay. Just about like 6 or 7 seconds slow.
Yeah, I understand there's a 6 to 7 second lag. Sorry about that. So moving on to the next module, which is the Power Pivot. So once you extract data, clean it, and store it within the Excel workbook, the next step is to assign meaningful relationship to different data elements or data tables that you would have brought in. So this is the place where you will create a ERWIN-like data model, where you can create the dimensional model or a snowflake model depending on your requirement. You can build in hierarchies, you can define your custom measures, you can build your own KPIs, which will be further consumed in the Power View reporting and other reporting that can be integrated along with the Excel workbook. So what is Power Pivot? Uses uses the SQL Server analysis in-memory analytics engine. It uses a columnar store to and stored within Excel. And it's the data, when it's extracted into a report, it's extremely fast because of the in-memory capability that's built into this. So Power Pivot comes in already installed in your professional edition. You just have to go ahead and enable it. And anybody who's using Excel 2013 Professional Plus already has Power Pivot built into it. There's no need to download any plugin. It's already built in. You just have to go and enable it in your COM plugins. So just to give an overview of how Power View and Power Pivot differ from a traditional ETL process, right? So in the traditional ETL process, you have the, if you're looking at the Microsoft ecosystem, you have SSIS as your ETL, and SSAS is the multidimensional cube building process. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, it just seems like it's cutting out a little bit. So
sorry about that. So if you look at the traditional extract, transformation, and load process, Power Query helps you to extract and transform the data, and Power Pivot helps you to transform and load the data. Although you can do a little bit of extraction, so there's little bit of overlap, which kind of calls out in the next slide. This gives a differentiation of what kind of data sources are available that can be integrated with Power Query and what are the data sources that are available and integrated with Power Pivot. The key differentiation here is that Power Pivot, when you use Power Pivot to extract something, you're directly extracting the data model into the Excel workbook. And with Power Pivot, you can also integrate multidimensional cubes or the analysis service from Microsoft, and you can bring in those cubes and consume it within your Power BI worksheet. But apart from that, if you look at the list of functionalities that Power Query has to offer, it is much more than what Power Pivot has to offer. Any questions, Walt, on Power Pivot?
No, I think you've been answering it. I think people were just asking about Power Query. It can access data from web pages, yes, and HTML tables, and I think you answered the other question about data refresh with the gateway. So I think we're okay so far.
Okay, good. So let's move on to the visualization part of the Power BI. So Power View is the component which helps you to create rich visualization and interactive visualization in Power BI. So the Power View helps you to create highly visualized data experience. It is rich in metadata and interactivity. So some of these standard features, reporting features like maps, pie charts, hierarchies, background with images, hyperlinks, are already readily available within Power View. And there are some third-party apps which can be integrated into Power View when you are using the Power Pivot reporting. You can download those Power View apps and consume it within Power View. So if you have to really extend the power of Power BI into Power View visualizations for effective Q&A, which is the natural language-based processing, or building aggregated calculations, you can build in a rich set of metadata in your Power Pivot model and integrate it for consumption in Power View visualization. Also, Power View visualizations Power View helps you to enable external images. So if you're bringing in data from external sources and you want to attach an external image, you can import that URL and consume it within the Power View report. So how does a Power View interactive report display look like? So it just kind of provides a high-level overview of the different interactive capabilities, the highlighting and the cross-filtering, the different kind of animations, the support for images, the support for maps. And it's important to note that Power BI in an Excel format is supported by Silverlight is the power which is driving the Power View visualizations. But when you upload the Excel workbook into a Power BI site, it also provides HTML5 support. So definitely the visualization is, so Microsoft is continuously working to expand and add new functionalities into Power View. So right now, for most of the end users, for about 70 to 80% of the requirements can be directly met with Power View. But as I said, Microsoft is continuously working to expand and add more functionalities and features in the Power View module. So we will see definitely the Power View module maturing as time comes by. So some of the new visualizations that Microsoft recently added, sorry?
Just a quick question, if you can go back to, well, why don't you finish this slide and then we'll cover it, because this is more graphs they asked.
Right. So some of the new visualizations that Microsoft has recently added is the pipeline chart, the dials, and the maps which get integrated along with the Bing map services. So you'll see a rich set of visualizations getting added on it regularly, and you can also integrate third-party visualizations like D3GS into Power BI and make it more visually rich and interactive. So you had a question, Walt?
Yeah, you started highlighting in the previous slide is just, these are, can you explain a little bit of what you're looking at? This is a web page using a Power View report, and it's allowing you to do some interactive what-if analysis.
Yeah, you can do a what-if analysis also. It does help you to do some kind of forecasting. But this view that you are seeing here is the view that gets integrated into the Power BI Power site once you upload it. So you are able to provide. You can create multiple dashboards and images within the same Power View worksheet, and you can have multiple such sheets within a Excel workbook and upload it. So in one Excel workbook, you can have multiple dashboards created as separate tabs and can be consumed directly into the Power BI site. All you have to do is just toggle between the worksheets, and you will be able to see different graphs and charts in the Power BI site.
Sure. And I think one of the questions came up was, you mentioned interactive here. So the example might be that you might click that green bar in the middle where the interactive sign is, and it would filter other things on that page.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes, so that's the whole purpose of interactivity. Like if you are building in 4 images or 4 different charts in one Power View worksheet, so if you click on any one of the bars, it'll associate itself with the other data elements within the other reports within the same Power View worksheet, and it'll change the data accordingly. So Walt, we'll witness this in the demo slides that we have built in, where we'll be talking about how the interactivity works.
Yep, there was just some questions along those lines. Yep.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So I will do injustice to Power BI if I don't talk about Power Map. So Power Map is, as I said, is a additional add-on which is freely downloadable. Create videos of the dashboards and reports that you have built, which will be helpful in rich, powerful storytelling on your data. And you can also present this in. Basically, you can upload the video that you have created out of this in the Power BI site, and that can also be consumed within the Power BI site. So Power Map, as I said, uses the Bing-based services from Microsoft, and it uses location-based services and kind of plots data across the different geographies based on the data that's currently available within your data set, and you can create rich visualization using Power Map. Okay, so any questions on the on-premise side before we move on to the collaboration side of the story?
Well, it's a little bit keep coming up about data management gateway and how to refresh data on Office 365. Can you just talk to it?
So we'll be coming into that as we get into the sharing and collaboration side.
Okay, good.
Okay, so we have talked about the on-premise side of the story, where we, using the freely downloadable Excel plugins, as you see, we are able to extract data from different sources, create a data model, create some interactive visualization using Power View, and add Power Map components to provide more interactivity and visualization to the existing data. So once your Excel workbook is ready with these features built in, how it can be consumed using the cloud-based functionality of Office 365 is what we are going to witness here in the next few slides. So Microsoft provides 3 ways to manage and share collaborations. So one is using SharePoint 2013, which is an on-premise enterprise edition. The other one is Office 365 for Cloud, which is used by Pro Plus and E3 editions. And the third one is the Power BI for Office 365 for Cloud. So as we had seen in the previous slides, some of the key features and capabilities that are available in the cloud side of the world is the Power BI side, the natural language based query, the Power BI Windows mobile app, which you can use to query the data anywhere, anytime. Then the query and data management, which is the data catalog, which we'll be looking a little bit about, and the cloud-based data refresh and a little bit of Power View forecasting. So Power BI site, it is the site or the library that gets integrated into the cloud environment once you subscribe or you have a subscription to the Power BI for Office 365. So what it provides is it provides a document library where you can upload your different documents. So if you see on the diagram on the right, there are multiple Excel workbooks that are uploaded here. So these are all different workbooks that the user has created and uploaded in the Power BI site, right? So if you want to do an analysis, you can click on any one of these dashboards and then further get into it. So Power BI site is the place where you officially upload the workbook and collaborate and share it within the organization. So Power BI Q&A. So before I talk about Power BI Q&A, I just wanted to bring up one more point. What you see here has the Power BI Answers button on the right side. It's also called Power BI Q&A. So once you enable the workbook and once you upload the workbook and enable it for Q&A, based on the metadata that you have created within the Power Pivot model, the different synonyms that you would have created on different objects, that helps end users to write English-like queries, English sentence-based queries, and extract insights out of it. So what you see here is on the right side, it says data steward experience, steward's experience. So a customer is putting their, or end user is putting a query like, show me customers by total revenue and number of employees. So the line below, which is highlighted in blue and italics, this is how Power BI internally takes, sorry, beg your pardon, how Power BI interprets this particular English-based sentence and converts it into what actually it means. So show customers by total revenue and number of employees. So this is how Power BI is interpreting the sentence that you have written, and it is throwing out a scatter plot based on the best available data visualization for this particular query. So as you see on the left, so you can toggle between, it's showing currently showing a scatter chart. You can toggle between a data card or a matrix, or you can even convert it into a map or a table. And the results are coming in from this worksheet called CRM3 XLX, which is the workbook that they have uploaded, and who was the user that has last modified it. So as you see, this is an extremely powerful way of, without having to understand what kind of visualization works best for the query, you can just type in simple English-like sentences, and Power BI will be able to throw out the right visualization chart for that, which you can directly take it and consume it and use it in your PowerPoint reporting or any other organizational reporting that you are doing. And you can also share and integrate it within your existing workbook and collaborate it with your end users. So cloud-based data refresh is the next topic. This is the on-premise data access. So as I said, this is more of a IT managed services. Business users really don't have to worry a lot about it. All they need to provide is what are the data sources that they've extracted the data, and if they give those details to the IT administrators, they will be able to configure data connections from different sources and set up the refresh for the end users. So primarily, as you see, Data Management Gateway provides flexibility to refresh data on a selected connection. If you just want to refresh only 2 or 3 data sets within the map at a point of time, you can do that. Or if you want to refresh all connections, or if you want to refresh the calculations within the workbook, those things can be set up as IT settings, and Power BI will automatically take care of refreshing it on the periodic basis. So it's a gateway that has to be installed, which comes along with the Power BI site. Once you subscribe to it, you will get access to it, and you can set up an administrator, and he or she can help you set up the data refresh for the particular workbook. So it's a very simple GUI-driven interface. Sorry, I don't have more details around that, but I'll be happy to spend some more time with people who have more specific question around it. But for the purpose of this webinar, I thought probably this is going to be good enough to kind of share it with the end users. Does that answer some of the question, Walt, or is there any more questions on cloud-based data refresh?
Yeah, I think you covered a little bit. Back to one of the slides you had, the data management gateway is really just the ability to simplify the exporting of data or refreshing of data in your data catalog on Power BI and Office 365. I think there was some confusion. You can also in Power Pivot be able to pull data from published information in your data catalog, as well as direct information from other sources on the web. So they're two separate components, but I think you explained the data management gateway. Thanks.
Yeah, so data management gateway will come into picture once you have finalized your data model and the Excel workbook is uploaded into the Power BI site. And then depending on which data sources you have used to connect and bring in data into your Excel workbook, those data sources will be refreshed. Say if you are just bringing in data from a Facebook feed and an internal SQL server, so you just have to establish the connectivity for refresh from those two feeds. Whereas Power Pivot or Power Query, you can extract data from any sources, bring it into your Excel workbook, and then build a model out of it. Right? So they are two different, but so data management gateway is actually the next step in terms of the data that you have pulled in into the Excel workbook and which has to be refreshed on it's like scheduling your ETL refreshes on a daily basis or a periodic basis, right? How the data has to be refreshed. So query management and data catalog is the next topic. So in Power View, once you build a query that can be shared within the organization, the query that you have built can be shared again using the Power BI site. So you just have to upload that specific query and provide access to the right set of users, and the IT administrator can help you set up the access required to share within the organization. So the other aspect of data management and query management, data catalog and query management, is that you can also do an online search while you are building your data query. If the data is currently not available in any of the data sources within your organization, you can simply do an online search as it's kind of shown here, and you can pull data from any publicly available data domains and bring it within your Excel workbook and integrate it. So that's the power of data catalog. So it's not only for the data that's inside the organization. You can also do a quick online search, bring the data from external sources, connect it, and share it within the organization. And the key thing about the data catalog is building a data governance process around it in terms of what is the best query to be shared. Is this really something that the end users are going to use it? You can also, in the Power BI administrative side, you can also monitor which queries that you have shared are being most widely used within the organization, what's been the frequency, how the query performance is happening. So those are some of the IT-related features that can be monitored at the back end once the queries have been built and shared within the organization. So any questions, Walt, so far? Any other questions that needs to be answered before we get into the sales analytics demo part?
Yeah, I think as you're going through this, people are just asking, what are the components that are involved in deploying one of these solutions? So maybe you can just explain that a little bit, and the different data sources that you can pull data using Power Pivot. So you can do that when you're going through your demo here.
So what are the different data sources? So I think that we covered in one of the slides, which says what data sources Power Pivot has, Power Query and Power Pivot allows us to pull data from.
Yeah, and I think you have a couple of slides that shows you just how Power Pivot can pull from many different sources.
Right, yes.
Yep. That's about it.
Yeah, I'll be happy to answer any specific question after the call also if there is still some clarification that needs to be done. But I think from a data source perspective, so we are going to share this set of slides with the end users, so I don't think they have to make any notes or anything, and they can refer back to this set of deck after the webinar. Is that correct, Walt?
Great, yes. Yep, the video will be available. Thank you.
Yeah. So, so what we will do right now is we'll quickly show you some of the demo samples that we have built using Power BI, and we have connected to the recently made available Salesforce adapters for Power BI. So we have connected using the Salesforce adapter for Power BI, downloaded data from Salesforce application, and built a quick solution, which we thought it's important to know how a solution, having talked about the different components of Power BI, how to put it into a real life example. So what you see here is a typical reference architecture for any Power BI based analytics solution. In our case, as I said, we are using Salesforce as the example. So the blue box that you see here on the right is a Salesforce adapter plugin, which is a free plugin that was made available by Salesforce recently in the recently concluded Dreamforce. So we took that adapter, we connected to Salesforce, and we brought in data from Salesforce. So the other components that you see here are just for reference purposes. This is how, when you start building an application using Power BI, these are the different components that you would typically end up using or consuming within the application. So you could have external data sources. It could be some different databases, files, or any other data feeds. You could have a third-party data source like Salesforce. You bring them all using different connectors. You build the tabular model or the dimensional model or consume data from the dimensional model. Then using Power Pivot and Power Query. And then you build a Power BI semantic model, which is nothing but the Power BI model with Power Pivot model. And that can be consumed either in Power View or Power Maps or Power Queries. And once that is done, the whole Excel workbook can be then put on to the Office 365 side, where already the Office 365 side from Microsoft already takes care of all the multi-tenant server architectures, the AD sync that needs to be done, the SSL connections, all those things are already taken care by Office 365, so you really don't have to kind of worry about that. So once you have your own access site, you can go and upload it, and the data management gateway will do the refresh that's needed. Additionally, you can also bring in data from any third-party VMs that are running, like it could be a SQL server or a SQL database that are running on different virtual clouds. So this just gives a high-level overview of how an analytics solution using Power BI in an end-to-end model is going to look like. So what we have done is, using the same model, we have used the Salesforce connector, downloaded the data from Salesforce using the, so there are two ways you can download data from Salesforce. Either you can bring in the Salesforce objects that are exposed to your user, or you can directly download data from different Salesforce reports that your organization is using. So there are two ways of using it. So we have downloaded the data using the Salesforce objects, and then we have created a data model and built some custom calculations around it. We downloaded the data into an Excel query, Excel using Power Query. We used Power Queries to clean and transform the data. We then loaded the data model into a worksheet and then created the right joins and the hierarchies. We created the right aggregations and the calculations. We built some synonyms to create metadata and save the model and then publish it into the Power BI site. And what that looks like is something like this. So this is our internal Netwoven Office 365 site. So what you see here is, this is the Power BI site, which is for which we have access, and we have uploaded some demo dashboards here. On the right side, you can see Ask Questions with Power BI Q&A. So you can, once you click on a particular Excel sheet and click on this, you can get into the Q&A based, natural language based search for that particular application. So the one that we are going to talk about is this global sales set demo, which is the Power BI SFDC final demo that you are seeing on the right side of the screen.
Hey, Murali?
So this is actually, yeah.
Sorry, there's a couple questions. This might be a good time to explain it. So, you know, several people have an on-premise solution and are not using Office 365 yet. And a lot of the things that you discussed, Power Pivot, Power Map, Power View, Power Query, are all things that they can install in their Excel on-premise to develop solutions and deploy them on their SharePoint 2013 farm. So that's just the question that people keep coming up with, and I'll try to answer it. But you know, all those tools are available in Excel, and you can deploy reports to SharePoint and view them in a SharePoint web part. What you're showing here, though, is what you only can get when you use Office 365, right? Can you explain that?
Yes, that's exactly right, Walt. So in one of the slides, I talked about what are the 3 different ways in which you can share the data once you have built it in Excel workbook. So one is definitely the Office 365 of the on-premise SharePoint, which I think the questions are coming from. The one that we are talking about is primarily how the Power BI functionality kicks in once you have a subscription to Office 365. So that's what we are today talking about. So we are not getting into how it can be consumed within SharePoint, but yes, definitely, as you rightly said, once you build an Excel workbook from your desktop, it can be either consumed on SharePoint Online, SharePoint on-premise, or Office 365, Power BI for Office 365, or just Office 365 for that matter.
Yep. So really just this reporting gallery, if you guys, anybody who's using SharePoint a while back, there used to be a report gallery. This feature is important, it's valuable, but this is the Office 365 only, as well as the Power BI Q&A, which is the natural language query against the data. So those two features are Office 365 only. Everything else you've been talking about you could do on-premise.
Yeah, everything that I've been talking about, the on-premise side can be done, but the collaboration side that we covered, like the Power BI data catalog, data refresh using data management gateway, Q&A, and sharing of the data catalogs, all these things can be achieved, can be done only if you have access to Power BI for Office 365.
Great, thanks. Hopefully that answers the questions people had. So.
Yep. Okay.
Yep, thank you.
So, so if we click on the main dashboard, so what you see here is the 4-quadrant dashboard that we have built in. So the objective of this dashboard is just to kind of summarize what this kind of depicts is for a global sales head, if he wants to see a dashboard on a daily basis to see how his geography is performing in a particular quarter. So the two vertical bars that you see on the left side are called slicers within Power View. So what it does is, what you're seeing here is for the country Sweden for the quarter Q1 13, what's the performance to go look like in this particular quadrant, which is, so for what are the open opportunities, what are the lost opportunities, and what are the opportunities won for Q1 13 spread across different time periods. So looking at this, there's definitely a lot of open opportunities in March, in the month of March, that the sales head needs to catch up with. So the moment he clicks on this purple bar here, which is the open opportunities, it kind of, on the right, the next graph on the right side throws out all the open opportunity amounts with different probabilities, right? So then his objective is to get a closure and meet his revenue numbers. So what he does is he will look at opportunities which have the highest probability of getting closed and which have a highest open opportunity amount. So he will try to narrow in and look at the top 3 or 4 opportunities with the highest probability and the highest opportunity amount. So looking at that, the opportunity over here looks the 10 million opportunity with a 0.6, close to a 0.6 probability. I think that will be the one that he's going to chase. So the moment he clicks on this, it will tell him which particular sales associate is associated with that and what geography is he reporting into. So that way he can go take a deeper look at the action and then create some specific action around how he can help the particular sales rep close that particular opportunity and close it out. So it's kind of a good storytelling and a best practice that we have evolved in terms of how we go ahead and design different kind of dashboards for different end users. And that's what we're trying to depict here in the Power BI dashboard. So the different slabs that you see here are nothing but they are different Power View reports that we have created. So this dashboard is one Power View report where we are building in slices and providing the right level of interactivity. What you see on the right side is a set of filters and analysis conditions. So you can further click on this and you can play around with the data by manipulating different parameters, and the graphs will change automatically. So this is one of the charts. The other chart that we wanted to kind of start here, which is showing what are the different probability by opportunity distribution. So what it does is you also have a flexibility to play around this chart over a period of time to see how the opportunities have been growing and how what's the time frame when the maximum opportunities were created and how those opportunities have been shaping up over a period of time to see which have been closing, which have been kept open for a long time, and which have been in the process of getting closed in the near future. So these are different capabilities that you can just kind of build in Power BI, and this is the one that we have kind of built in the demo just to kind of showcase. The other one is the images. So here if you look at this particular chart, we have got in some external images to get integrated along with the different product images. And the other concept that you can also see is the concept of tiles. What it does is you can see, instead of putting it in a filter mode, you can put it in a tile mode. So at any point of time, if you just want to look at one particular year or a particular product description, you can create it as a tile and display it within the Power View report. So this is called a card image. This kind of charts are called card images within Power BI, and this is a very powerful way of delivering some of the visualizations to the end users. Okay.
Great.
And the last one is the Q&A one. So if you look at it, I've just typed in here sum of open opportunities by product name in Spain, and it gives me a bar chart which show me the product and the number of open opportunities where billing country is Spain. That's how Power BI is internally analyzing what I have typed here, and it's showing me that the bar chart is the best example for you, and it's giving me a bar chart as an output, but also it gives me a flexibility to pick from any other charting capabilities. It could be a pie chart, line chart, or a scatter chart. So whichever way I want to represent the data, I can use that. And with a simple English-like sentence, the end users can use this feature to create different graphs and generate different graphs without having to do any kind of a drag and drop, or write any kind of queries. They can get powerful visualizations on their data depending on how the data is built out in the Power Pivot model and what kind of flexibility as a data model you are providing to the end user to help them consume that particular data.
Well, thanks, Murali. We're about at 5 minutes left, so
okay.
let's wrap it up.
Sure. So yeah, just quickly, Walt, just let me take 1 minute to kind of just talk a little bit about the differences between Power BI and SharePoint BI, because I think there's going to be a lot of questions that are going to get answered here. So talking about how Power BI is different from SharePoint BI in terms of the different feature sets or the different capabilities. So from an environment point of view, Power BI is a hybrid solution, SharePoint BI is an on-premise solution. From a content viewing point of view, so in Power BI, the biggest advantage is you can display all content libraries as one content library, as one document library, whereas in Power Pivot, it's just a single, every view will be a single document library. The data storage, everything has to be in Power BI. For SharePoint BI, it's stored in a different data model, and you have to access those particular using a different URL. And natural language search is only provided in Power BI, whether it's not provided in SharePoint BI. And Power BI uses both HTML and Silverlight, whereas SharePoint BI still uses Silverlight. And this particular slide kind of gives a differentiation between the Power BI for self-service and cloud, SharePoint BI, and on-premise BI. You can take a look at it. It is pretty self-explanatory. What are the different data sizes, memory refreshes, what you can use where, and what features are currently available, and what are not yet available within a particular solution stack from Microsoft. Okay, so that kind of wraps up. So as you see, Microsoft offers a complete platform for the delivery of intuitive BI solutions that help end users put the data in use. There are different entry points. End user could be an analyst. He could be an IT data steward or a direct Power user. So for any kind of users, Power BI offers an extensive range of solutions to build out rich visualization and help them consume in the analytics solution.
Hey, Murali, you bring up a good point. Data store is a new thing that we brought up here. Microsoft introduced it. It's an integral part of the data gateway piece. So again, it's a little bit more advanced topic, but it's the idea of being able to publish data through the data management gateway and who curates it. So there's quite a bit on that. Just want to make sure you reference what data steward is.
Right. So thanks, Walt. So I understand we're running out of time, so I'll leave the pricing and licensing part here, and folks can take a look at it and get back to us for any questions. So do you want to take the next steps in terms of doing the Q&A and wrapping it up?
Yeah, thanks. You did a great job covering it. There was a lot of questions as we went along, so I think we kind of answered it. Hopefully all all of you got your questions answered. We do want to not to forget that we did promise an award winner for being part of the webinar, and there's a Sony smartwatch that Rashi and the marketing team found, so pretty cool for that. And I apologize if I pronounced this name wrong, but the winner is going to be Tofik Akhmedov from Bank of the West. So congratulations. We'll still reach out to you in email, and we hope to that you enjoyed the webinar. A couple quick things to wrap up. Again, hopefully you got a quick overview. I know there was a lot of questions of Power BI, what components of Power BI are on-premise and in the cloud. It is something, as you might have understood as we went through it, it's, Microsoft is trying to leverage the incredible investment and usage of Microsoft Excel. There are some web components. It's obviously a combination of many best-of-breed products. There are other products out there that we work with, like QuickView and others, that are more integrated, but Microsoft provides a great overall platform to provide customized reports both for end users and developers. So I think hopefully we covered those. Maybe just go into the Q&A. Let's see if I've got any other last ones. Yes, we're going to publish the slides. So we'll be having that available via the video on our site, netwoven.com. And just looking real quick if there's any other last-minute questions. Yes, there was a question about how does Power BI work with SQL Server Reporting Services, SSRS. Those are two different technologies. You can have them coexist on a website, an internal SharePoint site, or build some other reports, but it's not part of Power BI. SSRS is part of SQL Services and part of that group. Power BI comes out from more the Office on 365 and Excel groups. Let's see, what else is there? I think hopefully we explained the on-premise versus the Office 365. There is a quick question about just how do you license it for Power BI. So you can enable Power BI for your Office 365 instance or tenant on your site, and that's licensed per user. And you can configure that through you can get a trial, as Merle highlighted. Well, you can set up a Power BI trial, but here are some of the costs. Thanks for doing that. So you can add them on to an existing E3, E4 license, or you can get that separately. So I hope I answered that. We appreciate your time. I'm sorry for being 2 minutes over, but hopefully it was helpful, and congratulations to the winner, Tofik, as well as thank you for participating. You can go to the last slide. If there's any questions, you can go to netwoven.com. You can see us on